Welcome to Everyday Decoding. This is a new video series regarding Gmail API using .NET and I am using C# language. So this is a full project video. So in part 1 we will see Gmail API version 1 application. First we are configuring Google Developer Console for Gmail API. After that we are creating a basic console application in Visual Studio 2019. Then we will see authenticate to Gmail API using C# code. Next, Gmail API scopes for accessing mails. As similar Google Drive API, Google Drive API has some scopes the way we are accessing Google Drive API. As similar, Gmail API have some scopes the way we are accessing Gmails and it nested mails and lot of permissions are there. Basically, Gmail API scopes are the permission, the way our application accessing Gmail APIs. Next, we will see read mails and it nested mails. And next, we will see read attachment files of a email using Gmail API. So first, we are configured Google Developer Console for Gmail API. So what is console.developers.google.com? By using this particular website, we are enabling our Google APIs. Not only enable Google APIs, we are also creating credential regarding this particular API. Also, we are configuring OAuth consent screen. So first we need to create a project regarding this particular API. So you can see this project Gmail API already selected. It will be displayed under this particular section project Gmail API. What is Google Project? Google Project is one kind of folder or you can say one kind of group. We are configuring everything under this particular project. First, we need to enable libraries. So under this particular library option, we have seen this lot of libraries are there. You can see this Gmail API. Just click on this Gmail API. I have already enabled my Gmail API under this particular project Gmail API. So just click on manage option. After you enable this particular API, you have to go to the dashboard. So under this dashboard, you can see this Gmail API is already enabled under this particular project. After enabling API, you want to create OAuth consent screen. Basically, OAuth consent screen define the permission regarding my application. My application is just for developing purpose and I am testing on my local computer. So my application is not going on a production environment or any kind of public. So that's why verification status, you can see this verification is not required. If you want, if your application showing as a public or if you want to host your application under a production environment, so in this case, Google provide a verification status regarding your application. And you can see this user type. This is the external because this is a free Gmail account. This is not a G Suite account. That's why by default one option is available for me, external. Okay. So after you configuring this OAuth consent screen, create credential. Just click on credential option. Basically, three kinds of credentials are there. First, API keys. Second, OAuth 2.0 client IDs. And third is service account. Basically, API key is used for front-end based application and OAuth 2.0 client ID is used for front-end based and server based application. In my application, I am using OAuth 2.0 client ID. So you can see this one credential already created. By the way, just click on this particular option and click on OAuth 2.0 client ID. By clicking this particular option, you have created another API key. That means you have created another OAuth 2.0 client ID. Just after you create this particular client ID, Google will provide you a particular client ID. This is the particular client ID. You can see this. So what type of application you are developed? I am creating a particular desktop based application. That means console application. That's why it's showing the type desktop. Download this particular credential JSON file. So just click on this particular download option and right click show in folder and right click on this particular file and open with Notepad. you can see this a particular ID. That means this is nothing but a OAuth 2.0 client ID. Okay, and this is my particular project ID in which I have accessed this particular client ID. Okay, so this particular key is only accessible for if I am create a particular desktop based application, Windows based application. So if I am try to access this particular key on any other kind of platform based application, if I am accessing this particular key any other kind of web application, in this case this key is not working because this key is created only the type of desktop base. After you download this particular file, just rename this particular file because I don't require this long name. Just client_secret. Just copy this particular file and go to the C drive. Under the C drive you can see this particular file Gmail API. Okay, just go to this Gmail API section. Under this Gmail API folder, we have seen this client credential info, and Gmail attachment. 3 folders are there. Client credential means this particular folder accessing this particular JSON file that I am downloaded from console.developers.google.com. After that, you can see this credentials info. Right now, this particular folder is empty. So when my application first interacted with any kind of Google API, so first attempt, Google API providing a particular token key, and this token key I am used, that means my application use this particular token key for any further communication with server. Okay, so basically this is a token based authentication process, and this particular folder is used for Gmail attachment purpose. So I am talking about this particular folder in a later. So first I am go to my presentation. So you can see this, how to configure Google Developer Console for Gmail API. First you need to go to this particular URL. After reaching this particular URL, you need to create a Google project. After that, create a OAuth consent screen for your application and enabling Gmail API. And after enable this particular API, you want to create OAuth 2.0 client ID to access this particular Gmail API. I just go to my next slide, creating a console application in Visual Studio. So if you want to create a particular Gmail API application, right now I am using a particular console application. So I just close my presentation and go to my Visual Studio. So just I'm close my all files. So under this particular project, you can see this particular reference section. Under this reference section, you can see this particular Gmail API version 1. You need to download this particular library under this NuGet Package Manager section. So just go to this NuGet Package Manager console section, and you have to run this particular command: install packages google.apis.gmail.version1, or just you have to go to this particular section again and click on manage NuGet Package Manager for solution. So under this solution, you can see this is the particular library google.apis.gmail.version1. So you have to just install this particular library or any other library. You can see this, all are dependent library. Those are automatically installed when install this particular library. So after you install this NuGet Package Manager, you can see this is the particular folder API helper. Under this particular API helper, you have seen 2 classes are there. One is gmail.cs and another is gmailhelper.cs. So this is the particular model folder. Basically, I have to retrieve all those mail under this particular mailbox. You can see this 2 security alerts and 1 mails are there. So you can see this right now total 3 mails are there under this inbox section. You can see this left hand corner, those are label. This is the inbox label. My intention is retrieve those emails and put into the database. But right now I am not using any database. I just put those emails a specific collection and that's why I am using this particular model Gmail. So I have created a particular list of collection of this particular Gmail type and getting those particular emails information and putting this particular list control. Okay, after that you can see this gmail helper.cs file. This is the particular important class. This class have a multiple methods, and first you can see this get services, message nested parts, get attachment, base 64 decoder, base 64 2 bytes, and message mark as reads. Those are methods and variables are useful to accessing our Gmail API. So that's why I am provide this particular name Gmail API helper. So I have explained each and every method in this particular video. So after that you can see this app.config file. Within an app.config file, under this app settings section, you can see these four important things. First is host address. That means this is the particular Gmail account in which I am accessing Gmail API. Cloud storage.everydaybecoding@gmail.com. Second, third, and fourth, those three are a particular path in my C drive. Under this Gmail API, client credential, credential info, and Gmail attachment. And those three folders are nothing but these three folders that I am already talking about. Okay, so just I'm go to my Visual Studio, and after that you can see this program.cs file. Under a program.cs file you can see this a particular method under a main method, get all mails. This particular mail taking a particular parameter, that means host address, that is my Google account, cloud storage.everydaybecoding@gmail.com. in my application, retrieving all email information on this particular email address. So I just providing this particular email address information as a parameter on a particular method. So this particular information already stored on a app.config file. You can see this host address. So I am retrieving this host address key from my program.cs file, configuration manager.app settings, and within a third bracket, this is the particular key host address. By default, in a console application, configuration manager class is not included. You want to include this particular configuration manager library. So you need to use this particular namespace using system.configuration. So this particular method return a list of Gmail information, and the type of this particular collection is Gmail. I am already talking about this particular object. So I just show you the particular method, put a breakpoint. So just click on start. So first of all, you can see this is the particular breakpoint. Just pressing F11. This is the particular method under a Gmail API class. So the responsibility of this particular method, this method actually start my APIs. That's why I have used this particular method. Okay, so just pressing F10. You can see this is the particular path, client info. That means this is the particular path, client credential, and this particular path I have mentioned under this app.config file. The name of this key is client info. So you can see this particular client info. So this is the specific key, and this specific key actually accessing this particular folder path. Okay, under the C drive, Gmail API, current credentials, and client underscore secret.json file. So this particular file accessing my application by using this particular client info key, and this particular file converting a file stream, and after I'm pressing F10, you can see this particular folder path. After fetching my Google API, that means after fetching this particular API, my Google server, that means Google server provide a particular token, and this particular token store it under this particular path credential info. Okay, so you can see this app.config file. This is the credential info key, and this credential info key redirect this particular folder path credential info. Okay, so you can see this right now, this credential info is empty. Right now I'm pressing F10, and this is the particular credential object. This credential object is the type of user credential. Basically, under this particular constructor, we are passing some information. Basically, we are passing this particular file stream. That means the file that I am downloaded for console.developers.google.com JSON file, and this particular JSON file right now is converted to stream. So I am passing this particular stream file, and I am providing a scope. This is the very important things. What type of permission I will provide it to this particular application, the way my application accessing the Google API. The scope is one kind of permission. What kind of permission I will provide it to my application, the way my application accessing my Google API. You can see this scope is nothing but a particular string array variable. I am passing this particular scope mail google.com. So you can see this, there are a lot of scopes are available. Google add-ons current action compose, Google add-ons current message action. Total 14 scopes are available to accessing this particular Gmail API. So I am talking about all those scopes under this particular Gmail services in my upcoming videos. So keep watching my YouTube channel. Okay, so I just pressing F10. Now you can see this, it redirect to a browser. So this is my particular Google account. Just click on this particular Google account. So by the way, if you are already not logged into this particular Google account, this window asking a user ID, a password to log in this particular account. So I have already logged in, that's why it not asks me. This particular window showing this app is not verified. Obviously I'm already talking about that. My application is tested under a local machine, that's why verification is not required. Just go to the advanced section and click on go to Gmail API application unsafe. After that, this is the particular window, grant Gmail API application permission. That means what type of scope I have provided under this particular section, this type of scope, this skin asking a permission. If I am just click on allow, then my application can access the Gmail API. Otherwise, if I am click on deny, my application is not accessed. Okay, just click on allow. And again it's showing this particular allow button, click on allow. And moment I do this, you can see this, just keep pressing F10, and moment I return this particular services, that means my Gmail API service is already created and it will return by this particular method. Okay, pressing F10, and moment I do this, you can see this folder is not empty right now. A new folder is already created. A particular folder API token credential is automatically generated, and under this particular folder you can see this specific file. This is the one kind of configuration file. When you right click on this particular file and go to the property, you can see this token response user file. This particular types created by Google. I am not creating this particular file. My application can automatically generate this particular file. Okay, so if you want to open this particular file, open with Notepad. You can see this is the particular token key. I already talking about this. Google provider maintain token based authentication. So my application first communicated with any kind of Google API, first time Google server providing a particular token. So after that, any further communication made by my application use this particular token key. So this is nothing but a token based authentication. So you can see this token type is barrier and expired in 3599. So this is one kind of expiration time. That means this particular token key has a particular validity. After expiring this particular token key, my application again create a new request and Google provider providing a new token key. So I just close this particular notepad and go to my Visual Studio, just pressing F10. Now we can see this, my service is already running, and this is a particular Gmail type list collection. And this is the most important things, Gmail services.users.message.list. By using this particular method, we are providing a host email address, that is my account. You can see this as a parameter. I am passing this particular host address, and this particular host address is nothing but this particular string variable, and I am passing this particular host email address under this particular method, gservices.users.message.list. This particular list method returning a list request, and this particular list request is the type of user resource message resource dot list request. It will retrieve the list of requested. So what type of request I have providing by using this particular those properties under a particular list request class. So list request is kind of object, and I am passing 3 properties under this particular list request. First properties is label IDs. So I am telling you only getting the request under a inbox, and including spam trash equals to false. That means I am not including all trash emails or spam emails, only fresh inbox emails. And also I am putting a particular query is colon unread. That means the mails, those are not read right now. That means all unreaded mail will be retrieved by my application. You can see these 4 mails are there. 1 mails are recently come, and all 4 mails are not read right now. So my application can access all 4 mails. So that's why it's showing is colon unread. So if I am specifying is colon read, in this case my email can access all those mails, those are already read. These 3 parameters I am passing this particular list request object, and after this list request object has an execute method. After executing this particular list request, a particular list response object will be fired, and this is nothing but a type of list message response. So after executing list response, it will check if list response is not equals to null and list response dot message not equals to null. That means if my mailbox has a mail or not. If my mailbox has no mails, that means depending on those criterias within a inbox, within a mails, if all mails are already read, in this case this particular if condition return a false. But right now in my mailbox under a inbox section, you can see this all 4 mails are unread. That's why this particular list response message return a 4 mails. Okay, so now I am pressing F10. You can see this, the count of this particular list response. You can see this 5. So why it's 5, I will show you. Now we are looping through accessing all list object. That means list response dot message, and we are storing all those information under this particular object MSG, and MSG is the type of message. After we looping through accessing each mail, what we will do, I just mark this particular message as a read because I am already reading this particular mail. So that's why mark this particular mail as a read. Just pressing F11. You can see this. This is the particular host email address that I am passing as a parameter of this particular method, and this is the message ID. So you can see this is the message ID. That means this is the first email. Just pressing F10. I just putting all label ID equals to null because all modify message request has a particular property all label IDs. So I just assign its null, and after that this particular modification message request has remove label ID methods, and within a remove label ID methods I have removed this particular unread label. That means right now this mail is readable. Okay, just pressing F10 and execute this particular services. So for executing this particular services, we want to call this method get services again. Okay, so after fetching the request from Gmail API services, you can see this particular message, that means the message ID 174388839F47 EADC is already read. So just go to the browser and refresh this particular mailbox. You can see this mail is read, and this mail is read by my application. This is the working principle of this particular method, message mark as read. Okay, just pressing F10. After that you can see this is the list of message. Now I am retrieving subject section, now I am retrieving the body section, now I am reading each and every content of this particular message, that means a particular email. Just step 1, this is the message ID, and it will print it under the console window. And after that you can see this message.execute method. After executing this particular execution method, you will found the message content. That means this is the type of message, and the name of this particular variable is message content. Within this particular variable we are found all those content regarding this particular email ID, regarding this particular message ID. Okay, so pressing F10, if first we are checking the message content is not equals to null. If it is a null, then this message, that means this mail has no content. So first we are define 5 variables: form address, date, subject, mail body, and readable text. Okay, so pressing F10. First we are looping through accessing message content.payload.header. So header section means a mail have a header section. Within a header section we are retrieving some basic information regarding this particular mail. For example, this particular email address is came from which address, that means form address. And after that we are checking this particular emails received from which date. That's why we are just checking message parts dot name equals to form, message parts dot name equals to date, and message parts dot name equals to subject. If those conditions are true, then we are retrieving message parts dot value under this particular folder, and I already am defined this particular folder in the upper section. Okay, so that's why we are storing message parts dot value under a date folder. You can see this particular date folder is normal string. This is not a date time folder, because when Gmail return those variable, those information are basically one kind of strings. So first we need to capture those strings. After that we are converting those variable as a particular data types. If this message parts dot name equals to subject, in this case we know that this particular value storing the message subject, that means email subjects, and we are storing under this subjects folder. So after retrieving all those information by using this for each loop, now we are moved to reading the mail body. So this is the step 2, read mail body. So first we need to check this mail has an attachment or not. If it has an attachment, in this case we are firing this particular method. So in this case we are calling this particular get attachment method. So just pressing F10. So just putting a breakpoint under those 3 scenarios, pressing F10. You can see the particular value, Saturday 29th August 2020. This mail was received under this particular date, and we are storing this particular information under this date folder. Okay, under this date variable we are retrieving all those information. Just click on continue. You can see this, the value security alert. You can see this, the message subject is security alert, and pressing continue. Now we can see this, the value of the form no reply @accounts.google.com. so just go to this particular mail. You can see this mail is come from no reply @accounts.google.com. now I am pressing continue. Okay, just put on this breakpoint on this particular line and click on continue. Now we are reading mail body. So this is the step 2. So first you need to check this particular mail has an attachment or not, but in my case this mail has no attachment. That's why it's written a null file name. So I just pressing F10 and pressing F11. So this is the particular method, and this method under this Gmail helper.cs class. Pressing F10. First of all, this is the particular list collection file name. After that, we are starting this particular Google services and click on continue. Just remove this particular breakpoint and click on continue. Okay. You can see this, the return type of this file name. You can see this count is 0. That means this mail has no attachment. That's why this file name count is 0. So if this particular mail has an attachment, in this case it return the file names. So what we are do after that, we are checking file name.count is greater than 0. That means this file name has a content, and we are looping through checking all those file names and putting under this particular folder. This is the particular folder, Google attachment. Okay, so all attachments regarding my emails, all attachment files are stored under this particular folder, Gmail API and Gmail attachment. So just pressing F10, and obviously program moves on this else part. Console.writeLine, I am printed mail has no attachment. Okay, just click on F10. Right now I have reading mail bodies. Okay, after reading all attachment section, we are reading mail bodies. So first we need to check that message content.payload.parts equals to null, or message content.payloads.body is not equals to null. That means if this message content has no nested mails, because one mail has a lot of replies are there, lot of nested messages are there. So the condition, if the condition is true, then go to this particular section. That means this mail has no parts. So that means this particular mail payload.parts equals to null, and message content.payloads.body not equals to null. That means the body is not equals to null, but parts equals to null. If those condition is true, in this case my program goes to this particular line, but right now I have go to this particular line. That means this mail has a nested parts. So just click on this particular section and pressing F11. This is the message nested parts. Under this message nested part, you can see this under this particular method message nested parts. It will iterate to return all mail parts. First it will check the plain text mail. That means a particular email content a different type of text. If it is a plain text, if it is an attachment mail, or if it is a HTML based mail, that means a mail content not only for normal plain text, a mail content have a HTML based text. So I am not retrieve those HTML based content. I have retrieved only plain text. So that's why I have used this particular collection iText message part, and this is the plain text mail. Okay, so this is the particular link query parts.where x such that x.mymetype. Mymetype is nothing but a metadata. So I have filtering this particular metadata text slash plain. So when I'm filtering this particular text dot plain, in this case, this particular list collection is only has a plain text regarding this particular mail. Okay, so right now I'm pressing F10 and I have checking this particular plain text dot mail content dot count, is it empty or not. If it is not empty, in this case I'm iterated through checking each and every part of this particular mail and putting on this particular string variable, and this string variable is a particular normal string variable and I am just declaring as a upper portion, and first time I'm assigned is a string dot empty. So after that, returning all those strings, you can see this the particular text that will return by this particular mail. This is not a normal text, so this is a base64 formatted text, because Gmail API always return a text as a base64 formatted. We need to convert, we need to decode this particular text as a normal readable text. Okay, just close this particular window, just pressing F10. After that, we need to convert this particular text. This is the particular variable readable text I am initializing. So right now I am initializing as a string.empty, and after that we are using this particular method base64 decoder. That means we need to read those texts by using this particular method base64 decoder. Just pressing F11, you can see this is the normal function. So basically, first of all, for decoding a base64 string, we need to replace some special character, because without replacing those special character we can't convert this base64 string. So first of all, we are replacing a particular hyphen symbol with a replacement of plus, because after that we are replacing underscore symbol with respect to slash symbol. After this blank text we are replacing to plus symbol, and after that equals to symbol we are replacing to plus symbol. So after replacing all those things, this is the particular encode text, and I have used this particular encode text and just fix the individual length of 64 text. If encode text dot length remainder 4, that means if I am divided this particular length and its remainder is greater than equals to 0, in this case this encode text plus equals to new string equals to 4 minus encoded text dot length remainder 4. That means in this case we are using this particular logic. Okay, if it is not, in this case we are checking that if encode text divided by 5, if remainder is equals to 0, in this case we are applying this particular logic. So by the way, all source codes are available under the description section. You can download my source code and use in your project. Okay, just pressing F10, and right now you can see this is the particular method. This particular method return a particular readable text. Just you can click this, those are readable text. Okay, so first of all you can see this is the mail body, those are base64 string, and after converted to base64 to normal readable text, and after converting this base64 string to a normal readable text, those readable text are this particular text. Okay, so right now pressing F10, and we just checking that this readable text variable, that means the return is empty or not. If it is not empty, then we are passing all those variable, form address, readable text, to date, all those information within a object property, and we are adding this particular object under this particular email list, and this particular email list is nothing but this type of Gmail. Okay, and after we are iterated through all those messages. But by the way, I want to tell you one thing, only 100 mails are read at a time. That means if my application fetch one time in Gmail server, in this case my application retrieve maximum 100 mails, and next attempt if my application fetch my fetch the Google server in next time, it will retrieve another 100 message. Why these particular limitations? Because when you go to this console.developers.google.com, under this OAuth consent screen, just click on Edit app. You can see this. Your current per minute token grant limit is 100 grant per minute. That means per minute token grant rate reset every minute. So this is the one kind of limitations. So right now I just click on continue button, remove all breakpoint. So you can see this is the particular final email list, and when you click on this particular section, so you can see this is the particular final email list. Just see the content of this particular list item. You can see this first email has a body, Gmail API application was grant access to your Google account, and after this there's the another email, Gmail API application was grant to access your Google account. And so those are 5 email address access my application on my Google account. Okay, so I just go to my presentation. Creating a console application in Visual Studio, I've already done this particular process. And after that, we have seen authentication to Gmail API using C# code. So I already discussed all those things. This is the particular Gmail API class, and under this particular Gmail API class, we are providing the scope variable, array variable. We are specifying a particular type of permission and the application name. And this is the particular get services method. Under using this particular get services method, we are accessing Gmail API because we are enable our Google services by using this particular method. Okay, so basically this is the authentication purpose, authentication to Gmail API using C# code, and all those folders information we are put it under this app settings section in app.config file. So already I have discussed all those things. Next, those are 14 scopes used in Gmail API application. Basically, by using those scopes, we are accessing Gmail API. So each and every scopes have different permission level. So right now within my application, I have used this particular scope, mailgoogle.com. By using this particular scope, my application user read my Gmail mails, delete my Gmail mails, also updating my Gmail mails, and also delete my Gmail mails. After that, read mails and its nested mails using Gmail API. So first of all, we are use this particular message nested parts. This particular method retrieving or iterating each and every mail contents, checking those content by using this message content element, and this message content element has property name. If this particular property name is form, in this case it has a value, we are storing those value under this particular string variable. We are storing form address, email date, and mail subject, and after that we are storing all those information a particular object, that means Gmail object, and I have a particular list collection and I am passing this particular object into this particular list collection. Okay, read attachment of emails using Gmail API. This particular method retrieving 3 things. First 2 is in parameter and 4th is out parameter, and based on 2 input parameters, this particular function produce a value and store into this particular output variable. Okay, so user type means the host email address and the message ID. Taking 2 input parameter, it will process the request, that means it will again execute this Google services by using this particular gServices method, get services method, and putting this particular user ID and message ID and return those messages, because those messages are attachments, a message.payload.parts, and we are putting those parts under this particular iList collection and the type of this message parts. After retrieving to accessing and these particular parts, we are fetching by using a for each loop, and we are storing all those information, that means file name, parts.body.attachment ID, and after that we are retrieving those attachment parts, and after that we are converting those content. That means the return types is all are byte coded. We are converting those base 64 to byte because the attachments are come as a base 64 format. Converting those things into a file, we require base 64 to bytes method, and this base 64 to bytes methods used for converting those files from base 64 pattern to bytes pattern. Okay, after that we are reading all those bytes pattern. File dot write all bytes, so we are converting all those byte code into a particular file format, and we are adding a file name. That means file name dot add part dot file name. That means the part dot file name means the original attachment file name. Okay, then after that we are return this particular file name. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you like this video. If you have any suggestion regarding my YouTube channel or regarding my particular video, just feel free to put into the comment box. Thank you for watching this video. That's it for today. Have a good day.